I'm Jason, and this is the American Dream Car Show.
Hey buddy, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going well.
It's your black hat now.
Yeah, I got my black hat back on. It's from when we went out west, remember?
You like the outdoors. At least we weren't south. The show's going south.
Don't bring negativity into this. This is a healthy, blossoming relationship we're building.
Funny.
It's a car show, dude.
These are not funny bloopers. The American Dream Car. This is stupid. These are probably very expensive. Did I do it right? Can I let go of it? Is it gonna fall? I'm not touching anything anymore in here. Because bro, I don't know. We're rolling. Right? Do you want to talk about cars or do you want to keep singing?
Let's talk about cars.
Okay.
On this episode, we head to Music City, USA.
Anaheim.
What? That's the farthest. No, Nashville, Tennessee. Of course, Nashville, Tennessee is known as the home of country music, but if you ask the folks here at Lane Motor Museum, it's home to everything that has a motor. Planes, vehicles, motorcycles, over 500 crazy unique vehicles here on display. And right over here, I found one that's definitely gonna make you say, Eureka. Anybody that's out on the highways of America today knows that there's a couple problems. One, there's a ton of cars out there and it's getting super congested on our highways. That's what the inventors of this, the Gyro X vehicle, were trying to solve back in 1967. Alex Tremulous and Tom Summers said, hey, we got too many vehicles out there, they're not fuel efficient enough, and they're taking up a whole lot of room on the highway. So why not develop a vehicle like this, the 1967 Gyro X, with the intent of solving a lot of problems. First of all, this vehicle looks like it's moving even when it's sitting still. This slick design allows it to be super aerodynamic, getting down the highway easily. It's very, very small. As you can see, it's about half the width of a normal vehicle. So that being said, you can put more of them on a highway. The engine itself allows for the vehicle to get down the road a whole lot quicker. Being that the vehicle is aerodynamic and it's smaller, it's also very lightweight, so it's fuel efficient. A vehicle from the future on two wheels flying down the road looking like an airplane. It's the 1967 Gyro X. Now that's a car that'll make you say, Eureka. Subarus of today and Subarus of yesteryear. They've got a little bit of all of them here at the Lane Motor Museum. 50 years of Subarus in the United States. Everything from scooters to vehicles, vans, race cars. Something else they've got a lot of is bicycles. Why bicycles? Well, because they're an important part of transportation in the United States. It's the bicentennial of the bicycle. It says unique. Let's check this out. Come on. Oh, come here.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
What are you doing up there?
Oh, I was pretending to be G.I. Joe like when I was a little kid.
Do you even know anything about that vehicle?
As a matter of fact, I do. That's a LARC, which stands for Lighter Amphibious Resupply Cargo. It's essentially a giant boat on wheels. Now here's the deal. It could carry like 200 personnel and 5 people running the thing, or about 100 tons of cargo. You saw how big those wheels are, right? Each one of them has a GMC diesel motor, get this, 265 horsepower per wheel, plus there's a couple more in the back that move these giant propellers. It can go about 20 miles per hour on land, something like 7 miles an hour in the water.
You got all that from David, didn't you?
I totally did, I did.
Good job. Thanks for the assist.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Back to the show.
Imagine for a second you're driving down the highway, but you're not in a regular car. You're in a car that looks like a plane and is moved along by a propeller. That's exactly what you would be driving if you were in this 1932 Helicron. It is a one-of-a-kind. It was found in a barn in France, and it looks like a plane, but it has the wheels and the motor of a car. Very, very cool. Another cool car right here. And no, this isn't some kind of camera trick. This is a vehicle, a 1952 Citroen with 2 front ends. Check it out, man. This is absolutely cool. Now, you may be asking me, Jason, why in the world do they have a vehicle with 2 front ends? There's actually a really cool answer for it. The vehicle was designed for a fire department that had to get up a road that was very thin, not easy to turn around on. So you would get in this side, drive up the road, and then when it was time to head back out, you would jump out of the vehicle, get back into it on this side, and head down the road. How cool is that? When you're in Nashville, make time for the music. Definitely make time for some hot chicken and schedule in a visit to the Lane Motor Museum. They've got well over 500 vehicles from all over the world. It is something to see. That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. And that double-ended fire truck that could go both ways up and down the road, that was weird, but kind of ingenious.
It really was. Speaking of going up and down the road, when I'm vacationing, I'm the kind of person that likes to actually spend time in the car.
Yes, you do. You love to take your time and take the scenic route.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did on our way south. All right, so I'm not trying to complain, but you and I've been on the road a lot.
Yep.
Have you seen any car more annoying than the one in front of us? I think it wins an award.
Why? What's wrong?
Have you not noticed? They're doing that speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. Oh, now I'm changing lanes because I'm trying to get around the truck. Oh, I can't, now I'm back over here.
Okay, yeah, no, that's annoying. I'll give you that one.
Are you, okay, see, I'm a cruise control person. I set it where I want to be and I go unless I have to stop. What about you?
Well, I mean, yeah, I tend to use the cruise control, but then I get impatient and I just sort of override it with the pedal.
Yeah, and then that happens. Stuck behind the truck, aren't you? Oh, that's what you get.
Oh, I know what's wrong. Poor baby. Are you hangry?
I am starving.
Okay, well, let's pull over and get you a candy bar before you kill us.
No, I need a whole plate of food. Let's go right now. Pulling over here. Definitely fun when we're on the road to try new things like the smokehouse. I encourage you to take the road less traveled, try something new. I know my belly's happy. Jake, you full? You ready to hit the road? Let's go. Gonna go see some cool stuff today.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Like what?
new like old, if that makes any sense.
Care to elaborate at all?
Yeah, old cars, lots of them.
Where are we going?
We're going to Old Car City, USA, down in Georgia.
Okay, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be thousands of old cars out in the woods. Pretty neat.
That's neat.
Why
Sounds like a good time.
Why are you taking a picture of yourself?
Huh?
What are you doing you're taking a picture of yourself? Why?
Oh, Snapchat.
Why would you need to send a picture of yourself?
We're having a conversation.
What did they say that you're responding to that they needed a picture of your face?
They sent me a picture of their face.
Wait, so you send a picture of your face as a response to them sending a picture of their face to you?
Yeah.
How's that chatty?
Snapchat.
What part of that is chatting? Chatting's hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm fine.
How old are you?
Old enough to not Snapchat. Whenever I'm driving down the highway and I see one of those brown attraction signs, I get really excited. I get even more excited when it's a national park. Let's head inside and check out Russell Caves. hanging out in the great wilderness, something about being off the beaten path, you know, in the woods. It's cooling, it's calming, and this is a cave, but we have about a 5-minute hike to get there, so let's enjoy it. Look at this. All right, so the mouth of the cave is right ahead. A beautiful hike back here, really short, so it's not bad at all if you're gonna come see this, but this is awe-inspiring to me. I mean, when you see this gaping maw kind of looking at you, it's exciting. Cave systems like Mammoth Cave and here Russell Cave are formed by water movement. And it's kind of nuts to think that for this cave here, 14 acres of land deposit water into the cave, so even a few inches of rain could make for a massive flood. There's quite a bit of water down here right now, but it's amazing what the power of nature can really accomplish. Some 9,000 to 11,000 years ago, this place was home to primitive human beings, and it's easy to see why. They had shelter from the elements. You've got a built-in water supply, abundant wildlife in this area, so it's a great place for those hunters and gatherers. Of course, they would eventually leave the cave because of modern lifestyles. It is really cool though, because archaeologists eventually came in from the Smithsonian, dug down like 30 feet into the floor of the cave, and they were able to find like literally years and years and years of history, you know, from tools and the different weapons they might have used, the clothing, the food, and they could see how life changed over all that time frame. It's amazing the kind of history you find at a place like this, and that's why it's such a treasure to us. Let's get on the road and see what else we can find. Let's go on an adventure.
Whoa, hey, whoa, no. Whoa. Eyes on the road, Sparky.
Dude, I was trying to read the facts on the side of the moving van.
Why do you need to know the facts off that moving van?
Because they're interesting. I like to learn things.
Okay, true, but learning that the first recorded encounter with a giant squid took place off the coast of Newfoundland isn't going to help you drive any better.
Well, maybe next time you could drive, and then I could learn about the facts.
No, but buddy, you're such a much better driver than me. I don't want to take that away from you.
Yeah, you're right. I am a better driver. That's for sure. All right, so as much as you don't like being in the car,
Yeah, okay, I'll admit that I was having a good time.
seeing some things out there is fun. Get a good meal in your belly and even checking out a place you've never been. All right, after quite the uphill drive, we've arrived at Rock City. Let's go check it out. So we're inside now. We're going down the Grand Corridor. It's kind of tight space here, but very, very cool. This is gonna lead us out to the 7-state lookout, which is what we're really here for because we got a chance to see 7 states from one location. This place is stunning, man. The sheer majesty of these rocks and the trees, and I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, there's something magical about it. We're on the Enchanted Trail right now, which is the most direct path to get to the lookout. The Needle's Eye. Okay. There's some really big, you know, probably 90, 100-year-old trees. So, you know, it's neat because they didn't come up here and like level the place, you know, to build it. They built around it, worked with it. As we've gone on this trail, you can tell that they had to work around the big boulders and the gaps in the rock. It moves.
What are you talking about? This is stable. Everything's fine. We're fine.
Right now we're on the Swing Along Bridge, and that's not a camera effect. This thing is really moving. Can you imagine what it was like all those years ago when they were building this place? Wow. Off the beaten path, to say the least. Rock City was not easy to find, so that's where the barns like this one came into play. It was an old form of advertising. They put them up everywhere. They had to get people here somehow, so they painted "See Rock City" on the roof. It's pretty ingenious. Founded in 1932 by the Carters, Rock City was their dream come true, and man, it's easy to see why. Take a look at this view. It's the only place in the country you can see 7 states: Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. No matter what you do, take the time for an adventure. Go explore.
How are we gonna fit through that?
If you get a chance, I know you're on the highway and you've seen all those barns painted like with that roof that we saw earlier that say See Rock City, take the hint, go do it. Something new that is made up of something very old. Yep, it's exactly what we found at Old Car City, USA, and it was something to see. When you're on the outside, it kind of doesn't do it justice, obviously, because when you see just, a flat building with some fencing up, I mean, there's some hubcaps on the walls and some signage put up, obviously saying it's Old Car City, USA. It's been here since 1931. 4,000 vehicles out here, mostly older. There's some newer, but most of the stuff's 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. They're almost all American. Say one man's trash is another man's treasure, and this man decided to keep a whole bunch of treasure. I mean, there's 30-something acres of it. It's unbelievable. It's right here 50 miles north of Atlanta. To know that somebody could take their dream, something they're passionate about, what they want to do, and make it a reality when most people believe it's such a far-fetched what if. He's done it and is still doing it today. It's kind of like, don't let anybody tell you you can't. This is proof that you can. This is proof. Garden de Gran Torino.
Old Garden de Gran Torino.
You need to wipe your face, man.
I'm carrying 3 cameras.
That car's name's Alfonso. Up here's some really cool stuff. It's tough to say how long this car has been sitting here, but it's been for a while at least. You can tell the rust, the patina that's set in. It's maybe one of the originals from the, back in the 30s. But we also have a tree growing out of the middle of the windshield. Check this out. I don't know a lot about trees, but I do know that this tree is probably in the 30, 40, 50-year-old range. And coming out of the middle of this car, it looks pretty cool. And it's not the only one. There's another one right over here, Jake. Dean, this has been home for a while, huh?
All my life.
We're sitting here surrounded by all these cars and these hubcaps and these signs and this art. I mean, how does something like this get started?
I was born in a junkyard, raised in a junkyard, worked in a junkyard, lived in a junkyard. My dad and mother started it really in 1931 with a little general store. No electricity, no paved roads. A few years later, they started buying old junk cars, selling the batteries and tires and whatever to get another dime a day. Another dime a day, 7 days, 70 cents a week. That'd buy us some bread back during Depression time. A few years later, I came along, born here, of course, and grew up here, and I've always been around cars.
What about cars? Is it just was in your blood, or is it something that you're drawn to?
Well, back in the 40s and 50s, around here, we was a rural area of Georgia, up North Georgia, wasn't hardly anything around you. If you went to town, which is 10 miles away, you only went once a week, and maybe not then.
Cars were a big deal back in that time frame.
Absolutely. Many people didn't have cars. You couldn't afford it during the Depression.
Let alone travel in them, right?
Let alone go anywhere. You know, if you was lucky and had enough gas at 19 cents a gallon to go 10 miles to town, you didn't have the money to buy the gas with.
Let alone head down to Atlanta or...
To go to Atlanta was like going to the World's Fair. So all we had to do here is play baseball, ride bicycles, and we liked automobiles. And so we would get out here like on the road, and there wasn't many cars passing then, but we'd hear a car coming right out there to see who could tell first what kind it was.
Made a game out of it.
Yeah, made a game out of it. And then when I was probably 12, my daddy bought me a 1940 Ford Coupe. That's what I had and what I worked on, what I drove around here on the premises. I didn't drive on the road. I liked it, and I got into old cars, and I started trading on them myself, and I always wanted a junkyard. Something about a junkyard I liked. When I was a kid and when I'd get to go to town on Saturday, then I'd go to a favorite junkyard. I'd look around and I'd see a little piece of metal shaped a certain way, and I'd pick it up and they'd give it to me or either charge me a nickel. And I guess that had to do with art too, and also junk cars. So I guess when I grew up, they came together.
How did it get here? How did it get to where it is today?
Well, my dad and mother sold parts along with their general store. Later on, I guess in 1970, I had went off and got a good job and saved some money, and I came back and got a loan on top of what money I had saved, and I reopened the junkyard. They'd closed it, and I reopened it, and then I bought about 4,200 more cars on top of what they had.
Oh, wow.
I stopped it at 1972. I wouldn't buy over a 72 unless it was something like a convertible or an Eldorado or a Corvette or a Mustang, something special. I tried to be all American, so I gathered up a bunch of cars. All the time I was selling parts, but I was limited on what and how much I'd sell. Some of the cars I wouldn't bust up because one day they're going to be worth rebuilding, you know, and restore.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars out here that are classics that are sought after, and you saw an opportunity there, right?
Yeah, so opportunity one day may be worth some money, you know, and just keep them holding on as they could. I had to sell enough to make a living. But I still watched out what I sold.
Now, I don't consider this a junkyard. Just between you and I think this is a work of art, and I think you think that a little bit yourself, don't you?
Well, I like it. It's what I like to do, and I've always doodled, you know, and I don't call myself an artist, but I'm a doodler.
When you're doodling, what's your inspiration? What helps you put that paint on the canvas, or a piece of wood, or a tin can, or what leads you down that path?
Well, one thing, I always admired people that did artwork. So I started just doing doodling work, and it's something I've did nearly every day of my life. When I was real little in school, I would doodle on my paperwork. When I got in the parts business, I doodled between phone calls and customers coming in. And like I said, I've been doing doodling work all my life in school, be sitting around and paint. Today, watching TV at night or whatever, I guess had to make marks. I quit smoking. And when I quit smoking, I went and got me a cup of coffee every morning. I had the styrofoam cup left. Instead of doodling on my paper, I started doodling on the cups. Now I got my cup collection.
Quite a few of those, I'd say. There's almost as many cups as there are cars.
Almost, I hadn't thought about that.
You're working on it, aren't you?
Yeah, working on it. Everything I do now is on styrofoam cups, almost. I do some painting on frames that I have. But the main thing is styrofoam cups. And I guess it's kind of the feeling on a styrofoam cup. It's soft. That may have to do with it. I don't know. I never have to sit down and
ponder on it too much?
No, that's right. I hadn't. I just do it.
So this passion, you decided to start sharing it with the world a little bit, huh?
Well, you know, photographers started coming in here taking pictures, and then they would call and want to bring the club here. And so I got to seeing, you know, they was living in that almost. So we started promoting photography, and finally it got to be where it's only photography, and I quit selling parts. It's a lot easier.
You know, as I look around here, there's a lot of rust, there's a lot of color. One man's trash is another man's treasure, huh?
I got that sign out there. That's it. Yeah, and during the year, the season change, the rust changes. The rust on the cars draining down and the leakage in the chemical some way, it changes colors during the year. It seems like it's different in the summertime than it is a cold winter time.
You've got a gift for a community, but also probably a gift to the world, in my opinion. There's so much to see and so much history And I
Well,
just
it's
appreciate
a
you
living, plus it's something I like to do. I'd rather be doing this than going to Daytona Beach or London or wherever.
It's never work if you enjoy it, right?
I've been to a few places, but I can't wait to get back home and get to the junkyard.
It's like the road less traveled. I figure that's always inspired me from a business standpoint, or just from the impression they made on the world, was Walt Disney. And he had a quote, said, "Do what you do so well that they will want to come back and bring their friends to see it again," you know? And I feel like that's what Dean Lewis, the mayor of Car City, USA, has done here. He said, hey, guess what? I'm gonna put my art on these pieces of metal, these pieces of wood, the styrofoam, and I'm gonna show the world what I've done. But then in addition to that, what he's also done, without probably even realizing it, is he's allowed for Mother Nature to be the artist and for these cars to be the canvas. It's amazing. That was easily one of the most awe-inspiring things I've ever seen.
It was beautiful, and that tree of knowledge with all those signs and messages from people, that was just really cool.
Peaceful, quiet, tranquil, completely different than our next episode.
Well, not just our next episode, our season finale.
That's exactly right.
Where are we going?
We're going to Vegas, baby.